go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Singularity Storytelling Summit. I'm here with the wonderful Christine Elder. And Christine and I met, was it last year or 2 years ago?
A year and a half, I think.
A year and a half ago. And we met online like we do, because we're all singularity storytellers. And what caught my eye when Christine first reached out to me was she was a naturalist, she was a scientist, but she also did art. And me, anybody that knows me knows I love science. My biggest, most favorite show ever was Cosmos. I'd watch it religiously every Sunday. And Christine and I started working together, and since then she's built up her website. She's spoken in various parts of the world, and she's done tours and all these amazing things, combining her love of science with her talent and ritual of art. So Christine, thanks for joining me in the summit today and being part of the Singularity Circle.
Wonderful. Well, it's always fun to hang out with you. You're so enthusiastic and knowledgeable, and I just love it. So thank you so much. I'm honored to be here today. So thanks.
Beautiful. So we're going to go straight into the story. What got you involved and inspired you to become a naturalist, and how did you then develop your love of art?
Right. Well, from a very young age, I was an only child and kind of shy, and we moved a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends always, and so I just always found my solace in nature and animals. I'm just drawn to them, naturally. Can't even almost control it. Like when I see a dog walking down the street, I'm like,
yes.
And I was always crafty as well. And I was in 4-H, and I did sewing and pottery and drawing, and my bedroom was always covered with craft paper and fabrics, and so I'd always combined those two. And but then when I went off to college, I decided to be a little bit more of my practical side,
Yes.
The left brain.
Yes.
The left one right there.
Yeah.
And studied science formally, and I got a master's degree, bachelor's and master's degrees in biology. I kind of put the art to the side, sort of did it on my own. But I realized while I was going through school, especially the upper division biology courses, the anatomy courses, they were pretty hard for me, just because, I don't know, maybe learning disability, I don't know. They were challenging. And so I started drawing everything in my classes, drawing the paramecium in the microscope, and drawing the, parts of the skeletons we had to learn. And of course, the pig dissection and the shark dissection. And so I realized the power of adding that element of actually doing something. They say you learn more by doing than just by watching. And so that really stuck with me. And then later, as I became a field biologist and traveled all over, I was just incorporating that both kind of formally and informally. And then whenever I would do environmental education things with people, I would also integrate that, and people seem to enjoy that. So yeah, I love nature and art, and I love to travel and adventure. So yeah.
And I loved how you, despite how the classroom was structured and you'd listen to the lecture and things, you found your own way of integrating and synthesizing that information. And now, because you've done that, now you empower others to do that as well.
Yes.
So now that you've done it all in offline space, tell us more about bringing it into the online space.
Right. Well, of course, the internet has changed so quickly in the last few years. There's so many more opportunities to share your knowledge and passions, with the bigger world. And I had become a little bit frustrated with just teaching locally here and there for 10 or 20 or 30 kids or adults. And I just, I knew how much people really benefited from the types of naturalist work I did, and integrating not only drawing, but song and dance and theater aspects to learn and appreciate nature. So I knew there was an interest in a market, and I just wanted to pursue that more. So in the last few years, with your help and other programs, just learning, trying to get all the tech together, which can be overwhelming. I'm starting to do that. So on my website, which is my name, ChristineElder.com, I practice my writing skills. I love to practice writing by doing a lot of blogging, and have just lately developed some online courses in nature sketching and nature painting and watercolors. And then I still do workshops in person, but to kind of bigger audiences. I'm looking for more audiences that are also more aligned with what I'm doing. So as you know, I've taught in Jamaica before, I've taught in Mexico, I'm teaching at some national birding conferences.
Yes.
So I do those workshops. And then lastly, I guess my signature offering is I'm starting to develop nature sketching holidays. I call them Birds and Blossoms Nature Sketching Holidays. And I had my first one this last January, and it was in the lowland tropical rainforests of Honduras.
Yes.
Yes.
And how did you share? Because I was following you while I was digital nomading and staying also in Chicago. But I saw you used Periscope, you used Facebook. Tell us about how you use technology to share and invite us into that experience.
Right. Well, I'm still learning all that and trying to figure out which one resonates the most with my audiences, because I have some pretty diverse audiences in terms of ages. I love working with kids, but the people that go on my nature retreat holidays, those are usually retired folks. So it's the spectrum. I got to find what works best. I should probably be on Snapchat for the younger kids. I just can't get one more platform. So I've been doing Periscope. My handle is A Wild Naturalist. So I do just basic nature scopes as well as nature sketching scopes. A little bit on Facebook and Twitter. I've been advised to start a Facebook business page and a Facebook group, so I'm still trying to figure that piece out.
And the thing with all of that is because you're kind of all over, you're using all these different platforms. From what you've experienced so far, because I just remember your autoresponder and your mailing list and what that opportunity, like once you got that down, the opportunity that showed up after you did that, there's so many different ways, like you said, that we can choose. But which one do you feel is most fun for you, and for other people that may be in the same position, that they're feeling like, oh, I have to join another thing, I have to start a Facebook group, I have to grow my mailing list, I have to do this. Which ones out of all of those things that you've experimented with the last couple of years, have you noticed that there's been a result from, or that there's been higher engagement from?
Well, those are two kind of different things, because the highest engagement, I think, is when you find an audience that's really closely aligned with what you do. And so just this last month, I've finally pursued some guest blogging opportunities, and I got some articles on two sort of nationally known birding and conservation websites. And I worked really hard on those posts and really promoted them, and they did too. They were really useful content. And that brought a lot of people over to my website and then onto my newsletter list, my mailing list. It doubled in the last month or so.
Woo!
So I think people, including me, need to find the medium that they resonate the most with. I love writing, I love drawing. But also, I'm obviously not shy. I've done 25 years of naturalist work, speaking to groups up to, a few hundred people.
Yes.
And so I like the video aspect. I've been learning to make my own videos for my website. And also, I'm doing the Periscope. Although I don't have the audience yet that's aligned to me. I think they haven't found me yet. I'm not doing it enough yet. But yeah, I think Periscope is a good one if you are bold and can, you're not shy, but it can help you get out of your shell too. Like you've done such a great job over the last year or so.
I think it's a super great tool, like you said, to when you're first afraid, because now Facebook Live is also something that is, I think, competing with Periscope. It's a great way to just get your feet wet and see, maybe you haven't been like you, and you spoke in front of huge audiences or groups or done workshops, but this is where you can stay in your living room or go to a park and then live stream and pretend you're speaking to a group of 100 people and have your phone on there. So I think that's what is amazing with technology today. We can merge those two. And if you're not ready, and typically what I find is people that are online tend to be a little bit more introverted, more sensitive, more empathic, and that's why they're not going out as much and doing workshops. We have the ability now to do a summit like this and reach people from all over the world without ever leaving our homes.
And as the naturalist, I love to leave my home and get out in the field, but I don't always have a good signal for doing a Periscope in the places I want to be. Yes. We hiked up to the top of this ridge on the 4th of July, this extinct volcanic caldera, and we could see all the 10,000-foot snowy peaks around us. Oh. We were actually able to Periscope from up there because there was a great signal.
You were closer to the
You can't always do that.
Face.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is good. And I think this is what is really great, because we can be so flexible with technology, right? Is even if there isn't a Wi-Fi connection, I can still record something and then post it later. And people can still experience or see part of my story, part of my brand, part of my world, my experience, and you invite them into that. And they're like, oh, I want to see more of this. And they get to vote with what their interests are, what their curiosities are.
I know, though, for me, I have the tendency, if I'm just going to be videoing something, to spend forever in post-production playing with it in Camtasia and adding music and words, and I could spend a week on it, whereas in Periscope I'm forced to just do it and it's done and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So it's kind of a better use of my time. So it depends, on how much time you have, what your skills are, and how produced you want something that you're creating.
No, and that's beautiful, because see, there are some people that are off the cuff and they fly that way, and that's their personality. They show up. And then others that are like, I want to make sure that I take care of all of the details and it's very well produced. It's totally in alignment with my brand, and then I'll release it. But when they do release something, they may not be releasing something consistently every single day to keep engagement up. But when they do release something, it's something everybody's talking about. So there are lots of different ways, like I said, to do it. So a little bit back with the nature sketching, and I love your mission, your big why. As a naturalist, you're inviting people out into the world.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
So tell me more about, you have this website, you're doing courses. After people participate in one of your courses or they watch one of your scopes and they're learning about sketching, how are you wanting people to feel? What's your big message, your transformation that you're offering people with the content you're creating?
Well, I just want people to find another way to get out in nature besides playing Pokemon Go. A way to realize the healing power of nature, the solace of nature. And that's why I encourage and teach the nature journaling, which, you can look at that from two different viewpoints. You can look at it as just going out to a quiet place. It could be even a city park, and opening up your journal and journaling just about your day, or a problem you had, or something you're trying to figure out, and just being out in the quietness and solitude of nature helps you think more clearly. That's one direction you could go. Or if you also want to actually do some sort of sketching, like this of plants or animals, then that can help you to both learn about them, and gain more compassion, empathy, understanding, and hopefully, if, like the famous saying goes about, if you don't protect something until you know it and love it. And so that's my big why, is really getting people to find ways to connect with nature and understand it better, and want to save it, even if it's just down the street there's a new subdivision, and someone wants to cut all the trees down. Maybe you can say, oh gee, I've walked by those trees lately, and there's wonderful woodpeckers nesting in there. I don't want them to cut those trees down. Maybe we can make some adjustments. So just small things like that, going from just enjoying to maybe activism.
Transforming through art and science into shifts in awareness, and then into activists, into being aware of our planet.
Yes.
I love it. And I love how, because when I work with Christine is very detail oriented, and she knows me, I'm not. It's not my strength. But what's beautiful about Christine's process is she makes us aware of how the detail can bring this huge awareness into the big picture. So she just laid out for us, you can sketch the tail of a robin and then learn about the robin. See that the robin is in this tree down the street, learning and hearing the news that this forest is going to be cut down. And all of a sudden you have this immediate connection to the robin that you've been sitting almost every week and sketching and learning and connecting, that you're like, wait a second, let's not necessarily cut the trees. Is there a way that we can cooperate? That's amazing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So do you want to hear some of my beneficial reasons that anyone can benefit from a nature journaling practice?
I do. And you know what? Because Christine and I, when we were first working together, I was work all the time. And I do have a sketchbook now. And I do have like watercolor pencils now. And I go out and I sketch. And even when I was traveling, I had my little sketchbook and I'd just be journaling. And even if I wasn't outside, I kept the windows open and I'd see birds, I would see trees, I would see things outside, and I'd start sketching them. And it was because of Christine. So this is why I love my job. I learned so much from my clients. But Christine, tell us more, because I can harp on about benefits for me. But tell us about general benefits that you're intending people to have, benefits that people that have attended your workshops have had, and people that sign up to your mailing list or have interacted with you online have also had.
Right. So people of all ages and backgrounds could benefit. So like, I know a lot of the people you work with are women, and so often we do everything for everybody else and nothing for ourselves, and we feel so guilty taking any time off for ourselves. But you have to fill your own well,
yes,
before you can give something to someone else. And so, one of the benefits is that if you're taking care of yourself, even just 5 minutes during your lunch break, even if you work in a high-rise building, sometimes they have an atrium or a little waterfall and some plants in the hallway or up on the roof, just to spend a few minutes it clears your mind. And it is just, good for women in general. Okay, so then if you're a woman with a child, especially maybe a middle schooler, and even especially if they're homeschooled, and you're trying to get them more interested in science, you can go at that through the art of sketching. or if they're already into science, to get them into the art aspect. So, you know, what they call, you know, cross-curricular activities.
Yes.
Going out with your child and looking at just a foot square patch and seeing all the different kinds of plants and animals that could live there, just little worms and a blade of grass, and documenting that. You know, children, you can integrate with the curriculum and science of like food webs and symbiosis and predator-prey and commensalism, you know, all of those kind of things. So those are kind of like two different audiences. But also, whenever anyone is stressed, the healing power of nature can, you know, it's been well documented that it lowers your blood pressure and your cortisol levels. It clears your mind to be more productive in other aspects of your life, similar to yoga, right? It's also good for you, as you know, it helps you get over writer's and artist block.
Totally.
So many of us think that, you know, art especially, or drawing, we put that away when we were kids, and maybe somebody told us we weren't very good, and we remembered that. But I encourage people to come at it as more of the process, not the product. In fact, sometimes I have sketching classes where I say, okay, whatever you make today, we're going to crumple up and throw away right afterwards.
Oh,
So
I
just
love
want
that.
I want you to be free to do anything, right? So just the self-confidence you can build out of creating. You know, we're called consumers by the media, and we do consume so much media, and we're walking around, you know, with our phones all the time. Oh, thankfully I don't have my phone here. And it's just such an awful concept to think that we're consumers and not creators. And so the more we can put out there, it just uses a different part of our brain.
Yes. Yeah.
When you've journaled, how has that helped you? Where has that put you in what space?
For me, in the morning when I journal, it's kind of setting up the feel of my day. And also the lesson, even just from a dream, when I wake up in the morning and I'll write down the dream, and it's a lesson that I've learned, or there's something like my subconscious is playing with, and then I realize it when I wake up and I write it down. I'm like, oh, you know, and there's this moment of clarity, and then also gratitude journaling too, of things I'm grateful for. But then later, like in the evening or in the afternoon, or if I am stressed and I need to go out or something like that, I've been journaling on my phone, which is definitely different than, you know, pen and paper. But when I feel inspired, I'll just have stream of consciousness writing, letting it all out. And the more I'm present and I'm writing the words, the more clearer I become. And then when I just put it out, because sometimes I'll put them out as a social media post, and a lot of people will resonate with what I wrote. And I'm like, this is just my journal. These are just my thoughts. But a lot of people say, I agree with this, or I've never thought about it this way. And it spurs this conversation with people. So my own conversations that are going in my mind, I put them out into the world. So I've gone from just consuming others' thoughts and content and writing into consciously creating my own content and then sharing it out, because I was afraid to share out my content. Like you said, am I good enough to be doing this? Am I like, who am I to be, like, nobody else is doing anything like this. And I put it out there and people are like, I like what you're writing here. You know, like, why are you sharing all these other people's content or sharing all these other people's products, or like well-established companies and brands products, when we surround ourselves with amazing creators? And then we share all of our friends' creations on social media. It's like you're voting through social media on what we should put our attention on, which is amazing, I think. And that's what gives us so much power today as individuals and as conscious creators.
Yes. I mean, we're born to be creators. It's in our DNA from millions of years ago of evolution. The earliest humans were doing the cave painting and covering their hands with charcoal or sienna dust and animal fat and putting it on the walls, you know, and the hunt. And, you know, we've just wanted to communicate forever. And now with so much of our history and our communication online, you know, you think about the day that you pass away and what your family members and children and grandchildren have about you. And they may not have anything unless, you know, you had a journal.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just another way. And it's a great way to just document your life and your experiences and your travels. I have a book on my website about the benefits of travel journaling and giving you some ideas about that. You know, I travel a lot too. So, you know, it's in our DNA.
It totally is. And I think the more we raise awareness on it, and we have permission, like, I don't know who took our permission away from being creators, because we always had that permission to be creators. So thank you so much, Christine, for just bringing it all together, and also bringing the scientific aspect of it too. Like, I love like bringing up the DNA, millions of years of evolution, that we are creators. Like, we got it. And now if somebody is ready to accept themselves as creators, like, okay, now what? I know it's in my DNA. I've had some intentions. I've had some things that, like, I want to do this. What are some ways that people can connect with you, or if they want to attend one of your workshops, or they want to attend one of your webinars, or attend your retreat, how can people get in touch with you?
Right. Well, check out my website at christineelder.com. And I also made a little bit.ly link. Can you see this? Is that
yes.
close enough? And that's where you can download my nature journaling little PDF. You don't even have to sign up for my newsletter. That's just for you, for our group here. But if you do sign up for my newsletter, you know, I just try to keep in touch with people. I want people to feel like when they get a letter from me that they're really with me there out in nature. I do stories that really incorporate and make you feel like you're there. And I hate to admit this, but it's a real influence. You know, I love Anthony Bourdain, right?
Yes.
The food traveler. And he does these articles. He writes kind of like in a food porn way, right?
Yes,
like,
totally.
Food is he just brings it all so close to you. You feel like you're eating it there with them. And so I like to feel like I'm doing nature porn.
There you go.
But
Yes.
all ages, all age friendly, to just bring you so close to me out in the field. If you can't get out there, if you live in a city, or if you're older or you know, you just can't travel anymore. I just want people to feel like I'm their helper.
You're
to
their
get them
gateway to outside.
Virtually,
Virtually, yes.
I'm their virtual naturalist.
There you go.
Yeah. So there's plenty of things on my website. You can click the link below
Yes.
in my description here, and you'll see on christineelder.com.
Beautiful. Thank you again so much, Christine, for joining me on the summit. And I hope that everyone will definitely take advantage of all the resources that Christine has on her website. Follow her on Facebook, follow her on Twitter, get on her Periscope, because you're going to learn something new. And you're going to maybe this week or this month or this year head outside with a little nature sketchbook. She even has, I think, do you still have that blog post with like the artist tools? You have a video with all the tools.
Yeah, I've got lots of free videos.
Yeah.
Lots. I give away a lot of stuff.
I know Christine gives away a lot of information. So when you're like, I don't know what tools I should use. I don't know, like you're not feeling right. Christine will set you up. She'll set you up to go outside and sketch, and then get in all those benefits from going outside and sketching, and then reconnecting with your creative self. So thank you again, Christine, and I will see you all throughout the day on the summit.
Wonderful. Grazie mille.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.